Hello, everybody. My name is Mike Demaro, and I want to welcome you to the latest episode of My Life with Asperger's. Today's episode is going to be talked about patience. Yes, everyone has to have patience in this world. I don't care if you're autistic, an Aspie, a normal person, young, old, male, female, doesn't matter. We all have to have patience. World doesn't always revolve around you. The world is evolved around everybody else, it seems like. Anyways, you know, time is precious. So you got to have patience. You know, it's hard, but everyone has to deal with it. You know, well, I can tell you how an Aspie deals with patience correctly and how they do not handle it correctly. I'll tell you how I handle it incorrectly. You know, it's like job searching right now. It's kind of hard, but I have had the patience for almost like 3 years. You know, it's very hard to get a job that I want to use my college degree towards. Nobody wants to hire me. You know, it's hard, but I'm trying my best to apply at every single place that I can that I know my skills will be applied to, just to get a job elsewhere so I can get more money and have a livable income, you know? It's hard for me right now because all the jobs I've been applying for, most of them have been like crazy jobs that I'm not interested in, but it's like I gotta do it. If I want to survive, I gotta do it, you know? It's hard enough if you have parents supporting you, you know? I have my parents supporting me. I live by myself, but I have my parents supporting me in the north, and I live here in the south. It's like, give me a break, you know? I can't keep asking them for money all the time, you know? But anyways, it's hard for me to have patience, you know? I deal with patience every single day. Patience is time, you know? You know what I'm talking about, right? Anyways, I have to deal with patience when I'm driving all the time because people want to drive slowly or they want to drive the speed limit. I want to go a little bit faster, and it's hard for me to pass them and whatever, you know. Sometimes I don't have the patience for them, and I feel sorry for doing it to them, but I've been honking my horn at them if they cut me off or if they don't use a turn signal to turn in someplace. It's like if I'm in the left lane and yet someone wants to turn left and they don't use their turn signal, it's like it's rude. But you know, at the same time, we gotta give patience because if they're slowing down, I know they probably want to turn or they want to stop or whatever. You know, it's hard. It's hard to deal with patience because you know it's hard to deal with idiots in this world, but we all have to deal with idiots. You know, and like for example, I want to get into the building, right? Or get into a building, you know, at work. Sometimes it's like I gotta have patience for the guest, you know, and that can be hard because I'm trying to do a job, I'm trying to work, I'm trying to get my money from the job, but yet at the same time, the guests are wanting to have a fun time. They want to order pizza from us, and you know what I mean. I'm just giving you an example from my work. But there are other examples like that, if you know what I mean. Patience can be a good thing too. I know, there are places where you're going to have to wait and wait and wait and wait. DMV, for example, you have to wait and wait and wait. You have to grab a number or something. Well, I know in Massachusetts you have to grab a ticket. And when they call your ticket, then you go up and deal with the people. But in Florida, I think you have to sign in and then they they call your name, if you know what I mean. But yeah, that can take time. You gotta have plenty of time in order to go to those offices. You gotta have plenty of patience if you want to do the DMV or whatever. Social Security office. I'm not sure where else it's like that, but most of the cases it's like that regarding government agencies, unless you have an appointment or something. But anyways, now you also have to have patience during the Christmas season. Most of December, you have to have patience. Okay? Because there are shoppers out there in the malls and the stores wanting to buy gifts, and you have to wait in line in order to purchase something, It can be frustrating, but at the same time, you have to pack a lot of patience, if you know what I mean. So, you gotta make sure you bring your patients with you when you go out. It can be true, let me say rush hour traffic, for example. Yeah, if you live in New York, Boston, I'm going to say Orlando too, because it's rough in Orlando, the traffic. But if you try to go during rush hour to like downtown Orlando, you got to have patience. There's cars all lined up on I-4, both directions of I-4, from Universal all the way up to like Maitland, Altamont Springs. That stretch of road, well, it includes downtown Orlando. That stretch of road can get busy during rush hour. You have stop and go traffic like crazy. I try to avoid those roads during rush hour because of the traffic. You know what I mean? So, if you need to travel to downtown Orlando, you got to have patience. Same thing can be said about traveling through New York City because during rush hour. Because on a Friday afternoon a few years ago, I traveled through downtown New York City. And it was stop and go trying to get out of the city into New Jersey. It was nuts, you know. Stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. I had to take another route just to get around the major roads. And that actually worked out for me. And then another example is I went through downtown Boston on a Friday afternoon once. It was hard getting out of Boston. It was stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. Pretty much all the cities, you're going to have stop and go traffic during rush hour. And you have to pack a lot of patience. Same can be said about downtown Baltimore, downtown Washington, traveling 95 pretty much through the major cities. You're going to have rush hour traffic and you're going to have to pack your patience. But most of the times when I do travel to Florida from Massachusetts, the two times I did it, I left early enough in the day where New York City was okay to go through. You know, it was easy to go through New York City. One time I went through it like around 7:30, 8 o'clock. My first time I traveled through New York City to get on down here for my college program. I had an easy time traveling because there wasn't that many cars on the road. May have had a slow down for like a couple of minutes, but other than that, pretty much when I went through New York, it was okay. Same thing with Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington. I didn't have to worry about packing my patients then, you know? But, anyways, it's just when you leave, it's just when you have to travel through the areas where you're going to have patience, you know? And I know I'm talking about awfully a lot about the roads, but at the same time, you know what I mean? Anyways, I also managed to travel through downtown Atlanta. But you know what the strange thing is? I went through downtown Atlanta on a Friday evening around 8 o'clock, and guess what? There wasn't that many cars on the road. And I didn't have a problem going through downtown Atlanta. You know, it was okay for me to do that. You know, I really enjoy traveling through downtown Atlanta. You know, I have to go back there someday. But, anyways, no matter where you go, you have to have. Cars are not the only transportation that you have to pack patients for. Airports. Airports. You have to pack a lot of patients because there are like only a few lines for the security checkpoint. Everyone has to go for security checkpoint. You have to take off your shoes. You have to zip up your bags. And you have to, you know what I mean? So you have to prepare for the security checkpoints. And it can be hard on people to do that because everyone has to go through it. You know, there are no exceptions. I have to go through it. You know? And then also, you have to have patience when you're on the airplane because you have to have everybody you have to have everybody sitting down. You have to have everybody put on their seatbelts. You have to have everybody put their bags overhead in the compartments, you know? But you know what the strange thing is? When I traveled, I never had to put my bags on the overhead compartment because I barely traveled with any bags at all. I only carried my laptop bag and a, a backpack with the snack food. That was it. You know what I mean? That was it. I didn't have to worry about packing and putting bags on the overhead. Now the problem is when I get off the plane and you have all these people just go out and grab their bags and you're trying to get through them. And when you don't have any bags on you or you already got your bags and you're trying to get off the plane when you have people in front of you go out and go and stand and grab their bags. Now that you have to pack patience for. Everybody's trying to get off the plane at once. And I know it's real hard, but you gotta do it. You gotta accept it, you know? Anyways, patience is a big deal. Patience is something you gotta pack anywhere you go, or pack with you, whether it's at work or at the airport or in your car or the store or supermarket or DMV. You know, you have to carry your patients with you. You know, even at a doctor's office, you have to wait for the doctor. You have to have patience, you know? You can't expect to be seen right away. You know what I mean? It's hard to deal with it, but at the same time, you have to deal with it. I'm sorry, but there's no other choices. Patience is something we all have to live with. You know? You can't expect to go to a place right away and be served right away. How about all those other people that are sitting down waiting? You got to bring your patience. You have to wait until it's your turn. You know? I know it's hard for people with Asperger's and autism to deal with that. But you have to deal with it. Everyone has to deal with it. It's part of everybody's life. You know what I mean? So you have to bring patience with you. So I hope you can understand that you have to bring your patients with you. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Everyone has to bring their patients. If it's short at work or something, you have to deal with it. You have to bring your patients. How if you stand in line trying to order food and there's a long line? I'm sorry, but all these people were here first. And you have to wait until they get done ordering and pick up their food before you can order and pick up your food, you know? I know during the holiday season it's hard, but you have to bring your patience. You have to expect those things. You cannot have those things be given to you, you know? So, anyways, thank you for watching my episode about patience. And I hope to see you on another episode of My Life with Asperger's. And I'll talk to you guys later.